Raise your voices, raise your glass high. Welcome to the Drink O'Clock Podcast. Let's dive. Oh, grab an old fashioned and join the fray. Raise your spirits, let the music play. From the corner pub to the dance hall floor. Drink O'Clock Podcast, we're ready for more.
Live on my favorite day of the week, Thirsty Thursday. I am your host, Rob Valincius, and I have the pleasure of having with me Brian, and I always forget to ask how to say last names, but I'm just going to give it a shot and say Louzil.
Go for it. Louzil. It's close. Louzil. It's like Brazil with Lou in front of it.
I like it. Now, you're the VP of Business Development at Mometu, which is...
I'm actually the president of Mometu.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, since I think the profile was sent to you originally, I am now the president of Mometu. So,
well, congrats on the promotion, brother. You're the president of
Thank
Mometu,
you.
Which is a free streaming service. You're
is.
a podcaster, and you also started the Mometu College Film Festival. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me, and I really appreciate it. Took a gander at your show, and it was just like, I got to get on this podcast. It's such an awesome time, and you're just a good dude. So, thanks for having me on. But yeah,
appreciate it.
I was kind of always like the top dog at Mometu. I just gave myself a title that at the time made sense for our growth. It was enough of a title to get in the room and have conversations, enough of a title that I could step down and say, hey, I got to check with someone on that. So that was nice for a while. Now I'm the president, so it is what it is. But
now it's all on your shoulders.
Now it's all on my shoulders, I guess, technically. So, but we started this company. We launched back out to the public about 2 years ago. And 2 years ago, this past October, actually, and we're mainly focused on underserved content. So that's kind of why we started it. We wanted to support filmmakers that just really didn't get served on other platforms or were never highlighted or never brought to the forefront. And that's what we kind of want to make our kind of what we want to be known for. But then we also have a great selection of international content and classics as well. But yeah, I started that, or not. I didn't start it personally. We have a whole group of people that are kind of involved in this. But I then started the Mometu College Film Festival that you mentioned, and that's been a great success. We just have finished our third season. So this last time is all for college students. We had 38 different colleges and universities represented this past summer. So,
damn,
great opportunities for. We had 83 filmmakers selected, and 7 category winners were invited to Hollywood, and one of them is actually having their film turned into a feature film that they get to direct. We're in conjunction with another company called Insurgents financing the film. So they're literally going to get their first feature film made at 23, and they're not in debt for it either. So great opportunity that we get to provide and be alongside them and to help them get their first feature out there. And like everyone, I have a podcast too, right? So we'll mention that eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, at this point, everyone's got a podcast, right? We were a buddy of mine. We had I was in 3 podcasts, and now it's down to 1. But me and a buddy, I became his co-host, and we took a break, and now we're going to relaunch that podcast. But we've spent the past month trying to figure out, and we know what we want to do, but it's the name that we're trying to do, because you can't, a name's important, right? Because that kind of, once you figure out the name, you can figure out the coloring and the branding and the marketing, and it's a trickle-down thing. But you have to know the name, and we've been struggling with it because you're like, oh, great idea, and then you Google it, and some famous fucking person already has that name, and it's a podcast, and you're like, fuck, man.
Yeah, because you're looking at the podcast, you're looking at the SEO for the podcast and how the name goes off the description goes off the name, the colors, all that fun stuff, and then you got to look at socials and make sure you got a handle that's worthwhile, so you can help kind of spread the word on the social platforms nowadays. So, yeah, a lot that goes into that.
It's tough. I mean, I'm happy that we're in a world where it doesn't have to be .com. The extensions now range anywhere. I mean, look at my website's .beer because I thought I was hilarious when I bought it. So the internet world has expanded past .com quite a bit, because in the past, if you saw that, you'd be like, oh, that's IO. I'm not clicking on that. That's got to be
a scam site.
Yeah, but now everything is, we're starting to see it more. So you're not pigeonholed into buying a .com that you have to add the or an apostrophe or whatever the fuck you got to add just to be able to buy the domain, you know?
Yep.
And what bothers me is the guys that buy the domains to sit on them and sell them. That pisses me off because it's like you're just, you're cock blocking me from my fucking name, you know?
There were companies that were set up buying domains just to sit on them and sell them one day. Very smart. Very smart
super
way to go
smart
about it because they saw like, hey, this internet thing's going to be big. And other people like, nah, it's just a phase. Internet's not going to be a thing. And look at us now. We're all over the internet every single day in our hands. At every moment we're on the internet, which is wild to think about. Just the growth that has happened in, man, even just the last 20 years since kind of, smartphones became a thing. I mean,
Well, look at
smartphones
us. I mean, we grew up in a time like, how old are you?
I'm 40.
All right, so you're my age, right? We grew up, I think our generation is the last of a generation because we grew up really before the internet.
Yes.
And then we grew into the growth of the internet. And right now we're in some of the peak of the internet, right? AI. And I mean, we lived through it all. And I got to tell you, man, I do miss as a kid, and obviously it's different when you're 40 compared to when you're a kid. But, when I was 10, it was like be home by 6 when it's dark. And nobody could contact me, right? Which had its pluses and negatives.
This was like almost pre-pagers, at the same time, right? So, yeah, I mean, it was be home before dark. I remember there was one night that I was not home before dark because I was at the local elementary school with a girl and got, I believe, which would have been my first kiss, or that would have been memorable as a first kiss. And I remember hearing my mother scream bloody murder, my name, because she drove up to the school, see some headlights, and you're just, Brian Louzil. I was just like, whoa, I'm sorry, I've got to go. And I didn't see daylight again for a couple days. That's how it worked.
Yeah, grounding was a thing, right? You were if you were grounded then, you were fucked.
Yes, you had no access to anything. I believe her weapon of choice was a wooden racquetball paddle. That was really fun, really enjoyable. Until I outgrew that, and then Tabasco sauce sitting on my tongue used to be that. We can't do those things anymore. So, mistreating our children is like, oh, I'm going to take away your iPhone or your iPad. No TV today, which is
life shattering.
It's like, oh my goodness, I have a 3-year-old, so yeah. When I take away the anything electronic, it is the world is over, and I have to go play outside. How dare you?
I have dogs, so we kept it easy with there. We could toss them in a cage if we feel like it, and it's not inhumane.
Or put them in the cone of shame.
Yeah. We haven't had to do that in a long time, which is always hilarious. Like 2-week ordeal. But look, let's. I like to start my podcast, and if you've listened to some episodes, I like to kind of shed light on because I know we're going to talk a lot about Mometu and everything else you got going on. But talk to me a little bit about growing up, man. Like where'd you grow up? How was your upbringing, and what brought you? Did you always have that? I always like to ask, if you want to throw it in there somewhere, where did that entrepreneurial spirit come from? Because I think anyone that does what we do and maybe creates content and does other things, it's there somewhere. There's always a moment you're like, man, I could do this better, or I want to do this, and create something that you have or that you want.
Yeah, no, this is great because in my podcast, that's actually what it's framed around. It's to get people's journeys out there, because so often we talk about what's the here and now and what they're known for. So I interview a bunch of guests across the entertainment spectrum and get to know their journeys, which is really fun to hear those backstories and the things that make them tick and all that stuff. So I'll try to keep it short because I love talking about myself.
Well, you got a nice mic, dude. You could tell you're a podcaster.
Thank you. Yeah, this is the Rode Podcaster Duo. I'm a big fan because it's a great setup at home. It's not too big on the desk. And if you buy I got the Rode backpack that fits the Podcaster Duo perfectly, so I can take it on the go very easily. and we actually record our episodes in a studio in Hollywood. So it's nice. I can just pack this up. I'm done using it here. Put it in the backpack for the next time we go record some episodes in Hollywood, and makes it very easy.
The mixers are nice. They're really nice.
Very nice. I'm still trying to figure out the 2-channel factor. We're trying to figure that out so we can hone in utilizing some audio from both mics instead of just on a single channel. But we'll get there.
Yeah.
But either way, yeah, the sound is great. I'm really happy with the Rodecaster stuff. We originally were going to go with Shure mics, but I'm glad we went the Rode.
I think they have a nice ecosystem. They have a good ecosystem. I mean, my rig has been the same since I was streaming in 2020. So it's like I have a $100 XLR mic. I have a Pile mixer, which I bought on Amazon for $100, and it works great. I can't complain.
You sound phenomenal. Yeah.
Thank you. I have a sound engineer friend, and I brought my mixer. I'm like, hey, I don't know what the fuck these dials do. I need you to just. And he's like, bloop, 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 bloop. And ever since then, I just took a picture of it. So anytime I need to replace it, just put the little bars or whatever exactly where they need to be.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, at least in my story. So I grew up in northern Los Angeles, a town called Santa Clarita, which is a very well-known town for being just on the outside of LA, really the outside of Hollywood, to where a lot of like actors and entertainment adjacent folks lived. And so there's a lot of people, like a friend of mine's dad was worked for the Dodgers in the entertainment booths, and like so he got to meet Vin Scully and those folks up there, and
that's cool.
So he kind of grew up around that. And then I had a friend of mine who did security. Her dad did security for the Dodgers forever. A lot of people that worked in the entertainment industry as far as actors and sports figures, and we even had a house that was down the street from us that was known as the Lassie House, because it was the house that literally all the Lassie dogs lived in. And so, spoiler alert, Lassie was like 13 different dogs, and each dog knew a different trick or was specialized. They had the normal, like the regular Lassie. There was more of the camera Lassie that was up front, close-ups, all that stuff. But all the tricks and stunts and all the thing, go get Timmy from the well stuff, that was all different dogs doing different tricks. So it was really fun to be able to walk by there as they were like training the dogs, and you just had to be respectful. And no, it's cool. Hollywood at its finest, right? Because
black and white back then,
black and
you
white,
could kind of get away with a lot.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so my parents, they actually met in the film industry, and they were both producers. I think the original film that they had done was called Malibu Hot Summer, and that was like kind of their first go, or first to kind of claim to fame in a sense, if anything. It was Kevin Costner's first feature film, and so they're kind of known as discovering Kevin Costner, because they found him at he was working as a PA or something like that on set, and kind of discovered him in a sense, right? So they weren't very I would say successful filmmakers, if you want to say that, like A-listers, or my dad is not Steven Spielberg, but he didn't make Jaws or E.T. or many other films that obviously Steven Spielberg's known for. He's not. That is not my dad. And so he actually did a lot of like B films for Troma. So if you're familiar with Troma, they made like The Class of Nukem High. They did all the Troma movies with Tromaville and the Toxic Avenger. Like they just
I loved the Toxic Avenger when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I don't know a lot of the other ones though, like Troma. I don't know if I've heard of that, but Toxic Avenger, I loved that when I was a kid.
Well, so Troma is the company that makes all of those Toxic Avenger films.
Okay.
So Troma is Lloyd Kaufman. Lloyd Kaufman's the head of that. So and that's actually a New Jersey. Is it? Are they New Jersey? I think they're New Jersey. So either way, like North Jersey. So either way, he made some Troma films. That's kind of what like his most popular one was Class of Nukem High Part 2, and that was again Toxic Avenger movie. So it was kind of more like a high school near a radioactive treatment plant or something, and something explodes, and the women end up having like a second set of lips where their belly button is.
That's so cool.
Those are just Troma movies. It's just how it is. So
yeah,
go check those out. It's really fun. When my brother and I were born, my mom took, kind of stepped away from the film industry and took care of us, and kind of more of the housewife. And then she ended up getting some jobs and all that stuff. So of supporting the family and things are going. But either way, yeah, grew up in Santa Clarita, got into the film industry that way. I was actually on movie sets all the time, so that was kind of fun growing up on sets. Summer breaks and winter breaks were not spent at camps; they were spent on film sets. So
That's cool.
I was a assistant director or second assistant director when I was like 10 years old. Headset on, ordering adults around. I even got like an adult fired off a set once because they wouldn't listen to this 10-year-old child. And I said, director to blah, blah, blah room. I said, hey, Dad, this guy's not listening to me. And the guy was like, Dad, ooh. So that was the end of his time on that set. So
that's awesome, by the way. That's awesome.
It was a different childhood, that's for sure. But I would say that the main part of my childhood was definitely sports. So soccer was the number one thing. I did pretty much everything my older brother did. So whenever he did something, I tried it out. He was playing soccer at the time, and I was probably like 3 or 4 years old. He was already playing soccer, so of course I wanted to be on the field playing soccer too. Followed him around like I was his shadow. And so they always needed a second goalkeeper. They threw me in the goal when I was like 5 years old, playing against 9-year-olds. And I
played goalie. I played goalie.
Did you?
I was a fat kid though, so it was more or less. Let's put the biggest guy in the goal.
Let's put the kid that doesn't want to run in goal. Yeah.
I was not fast, but I just kind of do one of these. When I played indoor soccer, nobody could score on me.
The goals were a little
was
smaller.
way shorter.
Yeah.
It was way shorter.
Yep. Yeah, no, I played indoor and outdoor, but I grew up in. We weren't a very well-off family, so sports was always just my thing. Like it was just my way. I don't know if my parents were just like big fans of it or I just was good at it, but it ended up becoming the thing. I was like, this is going to be my ticket out of my hometown. It wasn't because I was gifted academically, even though I wasn't a dumb kid, but I was just wasn't the 4.0 student. But athletics were just my thing, and soccer specifically, I got pretty good at. So played club ball, played on the Olympic development teams, and did all that stuff. And actually, a kid that I played soccer with is actually a kicker for the Jets. Nick Folk.
No way. Really?
Yeah.
Dude, he's one of the greatest kickers of all time. He's got the best record this year. I think he hasn't missed a field goal this year, right?
Yeah, he hasn't missed a kick or a field goal or a PAT this year.
That is wild. That is cool.
He actually originally, when he went to college, because he went to the University of Arizona, and he was a punter. He wasn't even a place kicker because they had a really good place kicker there. So he was a punter until I think maybe his senior year. He kind of kicked a few things, but he mainly, he didn't go to the NFL with really much place kicking experience. He could just kick the ball like really far.
Yeah.
And he got drafted by the Cowboys and ended up being like a Pro Bowl kicker his rookie season or something like that. Made like some kind of god awful like 64-yard field goal. Like I think it was against the Bills in overtime, and he hit one, but then they called timeout, and then he hit it again or something like that. It was just ridiculous to have that happen, especially from a rookie. So made a name for himself pretty quick. I think he played for the Jets. He's played for the Buccaneers. He's played
for a lot of teams.
Yeah, he stepped away and played for an AFL team, I think, at one point because they got cut, and he played for the Pats. I mean, he's been around for a little bit, but yeah, man, to have not missed a kick this year, that's pretty impressive. Even if you're on the Jets.
I mean, look, it's the same story as was Brandon Aubrey. He was a soccer player, and I think he wasn't even gonna do anything. And his wife's like, "You should go try out."
I think he was working in a store somewhere. He was like working for a construction company or working for some kind of store, and like, "Hey, your window's pretty short. You should go do this."
Like, you can kick the ball really hard, and now like they had to change Madden football because of how hard he kicks to like you can kick a 68-yard field goal now in Madden, which was unheard of, That's nuts. And he makes it a regular thing, which is just fucking wild. But
look, everyone can make field goals until they play Philly and they have those two guys that just rush it and block both field goals from the Rams that made us lose that game this year. So
everybody in Philadelphia, though, will tell you that they're sitting on their couch going, "We're gonna fucking lose this game." And the wifey, she's sitting behind the green screen. She'll attest to this because I'm sitting there. I'm like, I can't believe we fucking lost. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, why'd they give up this? And she's like, have faith. I'm like, no, this is what it means to be a Philadelphia fan. And she's like, you're not a Philadelphia fan. Have faith. And of course, we blocked it and we won the game. And I was like, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, that was incredible. My family's Philly fans. My mom's from South Jersey, so
yeah.
My brother he was texting me already and was just like, man, great game. Rams are crushing it. They're just coming out of the gate, and then all of a sudden they just had our number. So hats off to
Rams
Philly.
are good, dude. Rams are good. I mean,
if it wasn't if it wasn't for, I think, the snow, I would say last year, I think that the Rams win that game in the playoffs. I really do. I think a lot of Philly like analysts and also some of the Philly players were like, yeah, they had us. Like, in that was really the determining factor, I think, was the snow, because Philly's run game is just so much better.
Look, ever since you guys got Stafford, I mean, I think that trade worked out for both teams. I mean, you guys were like an instant contender. For some reason, Goff just did not play well in your offense, but Stafford is, I mean, he's basically right now, I mean, if you look at a lot of stats, he's the MVP of the league. So
they're already talking about being that. It's potential. There's the potential he could be the MVP if he keeps it up. I actually give the hats off to McVay and his team, because man, they've drafted really well. And oh gosh, why am I forgetting his name? The owner of the Rams.
I'm terrible with the fucking.
Yeah, I'm forgetting off the top of my head. But either way, he put a lot of faith in McVay. He's like, hey, you want this player? You want this player? All right, let's go get him. I mean, look at the draft picks that they took with Cooper Kupp, and then getting Nakua, and then now with the two boys from Florida State in Verse and Fisk. I mean, these are some picks that were pretty solid, and they're changing the outlay of the Rams offense and defense. I mean, they're doing from both sides
I was
of the
against
field.
the Cooper Kupp. I was against the Cooper Kupp thing. I'm like, they can't do that. They got to keep the guy. I mean, he's good, and he's cooked. So
you mean letting him go?
Yeah, I didn't want them to let him go. I thought he was still a great receiver.
Yeah, no. I think that was. I think it was. He is a good receiver. I think he's just, again, getting a little older. He's doesn't have that quick off the jump step. And if you have the ability to get one of the best receivers of all time on your team, you go for it. You get rid of Kupp, and you make Puka your number one, and oh no, Devontae Adams is our number two. It's so hard.
Yeah, I mean,
you guys, Stafford is just loving it though. He's got some great players around him that are.
You're gonna be scary. You're gonna be scary.
But they got to start looking to the future, because Stafford's getting older, and I don't think he's gonna be able to go much longer. This year, maybe one more year. After that, he's retiring like Kershaw, and they're gonna need a new gunslinger out there. So we'll see what happens.
You never know who's going to come up in a surprise. I mean, you got people like Liquid, well, I don't know. There hasn't been anybody, I guess, what's his face from the Giants, he just got hurt. He got a concussion. What the fuck is his name?
Or do you mean Dart?
Jackson Dart, right? I mean, he looks good. That was a good pick. I mean, I think they overdrafted. But, I mean, I think you guys just need to, continue to do what you did draft-wise with your defense and Puka Nakua and shit like that, and find a diamond in the rough.
Yep.
Because you're not going to not be in the playoffs, right? I mean, until Stafford's gone. So,
but who knows? I mean, Stafford leaves, you still got Jimmy G behind him, who's not a terrible quarterback, so he could be a dump in there. Now, is he going to take people to the Super Bowl? Probably not. But
I'm not a fan.
But then who do you get? Like, who do you bring in? So that's what I'm saying. They got to start thinking about that draft wise. They're not going to have a low draft pick, so they got to really start thinking about who is that down in the rough on the quarterback side. That's the biggest factor. Who knows? And it could be bringing someone else. It could be bringing someone from another team that maybe they just need a new system, right? I mean, look what they did in transforming Baker Mayfield. I mean, if it wasn't for the Rams, I don't think Baker would be Baker today.
He's scary too, man. Fucking Tampa, dude. If they get healthy, it's scary. But all right,
Yeah.
let's
So-
get back on track.
Oh yeah. So no, I thought this was
I could
a
talk
football.
about sports for fucking 3 hours. So
Thought this was a football podcast. So yeah, no, played soccer with with an incredible athlete, actually a few. So a buddy of mine, Sean Franklin, played with him as well on another club team who ended up being the number 4 pick back in like the 2003 MLS draft or something like that, or 2007 draft, somewhere around there, way back. And he was a phenomenal player. Played with David Beckham and many other, won the MLS Cup with them. So been fortunate to play with some pretty solid players, growing up, which I think led to me just, being around solid players. You get better as a player yourself, and had some success. I was kind of slated to go to some pretty nice schools and was getting kind of talked to by some teams, but then I ended up fracturing my wrist. So as a goalkeeper at the time, I actually was a goalkeeper. Started playing when I was like 14 officially, but I got pretty good and fractured my wrist. Was told I'd never play again. So that was really tough. And I was like, man. So at this time, and you kind of asked about the entrepreneurial mindset, I didn't really have it at that time. I still was like, my focus was being an athlete. I really wanted to play sports for my life, for my career. And I got to a kind of a crossroads. What am I going to do? I still wanted to be around sports, but I also had this injury. I was told I'd never play again. So the common thing was like, well, let me merge the two together and help people with injuries. So I actually went to college down in San Diego to a little private Christian school called Point Loma Nazarene University to become an athletic trainer. And so I would be able to be around sports still, and they have an incredible program. It's an accredited program. So like even today they work with the Padres and they work with the MLS's new San Diego team down there in San Diego, and they do some stuff alongside San Diego State. They were working with the Chargers at the time when I was going to school, so that was like the big draw to go there. And one of my roommates back then ended up taping LT's legs or his ankles and working with
one of my favorite
Antonio
running
Gates
backs of
and
all time, dude.
Sean
LaDainian
Merriman
Tomlinson.
Yeah. So he got to do that stuff. So I was like, man, this would have been my path. And actually my second day at school, I was walking down what's called Calf Lane at our college, and it was kind of a weird thing. I had this guy come up to me. He's like, hey, you're that goalkeeper. What are you doing here? And I look, how do you know who I am? Like, I'm just nobody, right? And he's like, no, I'm the head coach of the soccer team. I was going to recruit you, but you weren't going to come here. I was like, well, hurt my wrist, did all this, whatever. He said, get a second opinion. As long as you promise to try out, I'll give you free rehab either way.
All right.
Okay.
that's a good deal.
Not going to turn that down. And so it was kind of a twofold thing. I was like, hey, get the surgery, get the rehab. If it works out, I make the team and play soccer again, which was, keep the dream alive. If it doesn't work out, I still get to go through the whole program within the athletic training, facilities and meet all the head trainers and all that stuff. So I was like, man, it's a win-win. So I was like, let's do it. Went to the doctor, got a second opinion. The doctor ended up actually being an Ivy League goalkeeper. And he's like, I was a goalkeeper. I know your injury. It's very common for goalkeepers. It's very common in snowboarders and skateboarders as well. He's like, I know it very well. I know I could do the surgery. He said about an 80% chance that it'll heal properly. Take bone off your femur, put it in your wrist, put a screw in there, this and that. You lose some ability, but you'll be okay as a goalkeeper. Said, sign me up, doc. So got it all done. Did the rehab, healed properly, tried out for the team, played a couple spring ball games, made the team, ended up switching my major because I had to, because you can't be a trainer at the same time you're being an athlete, and went into kind of a managerial and organizational communications role, which is kind of like a business comm hybrid.
Okay.
And I think at that time I really kind of saw, besides making the soccer team, which was the biggest thing, from an educational standpoint, what really drew me to this major was that the marketing aspect was big, and the PR side of things. That was kind of like the draw that took me to this field, because I'm like, well, man, what if soccer does not work out? I've already had an injury. You know, what can I potentially get into? And my goal was always helping people. Like I always wanted to get into some type of field where I could help people, no matter what it was. And marketing was like, man, I could help people market their businesses. You know, that was kind of a potential for that. So got into doing that. Played soccer. Soccer was going really, really well. So I didn't think I was going to have to fall back on my education. And of course, my senior season, I ended up fracturing my other wrist. Same injury. Felt the same
That's
pain, knew
rough,
exactly what it
dude.
was. I didn't tell a soul. I said, I think I sprained my wrist. So started icing my wrist, taking pain pills, started wrapping both wrists with tape because that was just kind of the way I could hide it, saying, oh, I'm just going to take precautions and blah, blah, blah. I knew what I did. I actually still played my full last season with a fractured wrist.
That's
It was
crazy.
painful, but I got through it. And I told the trainer the day after we lost our last game, I was like, hey, I know I was just named All-American as a goalkeeper, but I did it with a fractured wrist. And he's like, what? So it was a pretty crazy story. But to look back, I wouldn't have changed it, wouldn't have done anything differently because it was just the last opportunity to keep the dream alive and play a little bit longer. So it was fun. Got a great education though. And even at that time, I still didn't really have that necessarily entrepreneurial like kind of mindset. Again, it was still just about how can I help people. But at that time, I had no money to my name. I had no experience, and I ended up working for a company that was very keen on bringing athletes on in enterprise rent-a-car. So,
Hey, I know people that work there, bro,
dude,
and it's
so
it's a
many
great
people.
company. It's a great company, especially
Yeah.
coming out of college.
And Will Ferrell, obviously makes mention of that in what's the movie? Step Brothers.
Yep.
He's like, I'm gonna go work at Enterprise Rent-A-Car because they teach you how to be your own boss, and it's kind of true. I got a great education from them. It's kind of more of I would say more of a master's program in anything, learning business and learning how to run a business and managing P&Ls and managing employees and dealing with other dealership, businesses as far as dealerships and body shops and insurance companies and all that stuff. I mean, I did learn a lot. And I worked there for 10 years and it was a great run. Ended up going into sales after that because I was like, I need to diversify my portfolio a little bit. So got into sales, did some outside sales for another corporation, and then the opportunity for Mometu kind of came around. Got tapped on the shoulder, and it was like, hey, we got this opportunity to run this streaming service. We need someone to run it, and what do you think? And at the time, I said no. I was like, I don't want to
Really?
get back into the entertainment industry because that's kind of what. Well, it ended up being the kind of demise of my parents in a sense, where my dad was on the road all the time at movie sets and all that stuff. My mom was back home, and they ended up splitting, like many millennial parents ended up splitting. I think over 50% of millennial parents are divorced, which is wild.
My parents are divorced, so
Dude, yeah, I don't know what it was about the internet kicking in, but something happened. So
yeah, it was definitely like the Red Sea parting, in a lot of
dude,
ways, right?
crazy. Like almost all of my friends, I mean, it's like your parents are divorced. It's just nuts to think about that. Like the statistic of that is insane countrywide.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than like my wifey's mom and dad. They have quite a unique relationship. So I think I'd rather have my parents divorced and in separate houses than what they got going on.
Everyone's got their
But
own
hey, to
stories
each his
and
own.
such.
You know.
Yeah, everyone's got their own stories and reasons for either staying together or breaking apart and all that stuff. And which also I think has made me a stronger husband and a stronger father from having the example of what not to do. Or things to change and be more present and all that stuff. And I think there is a statistic going around that millennial dads, or millennials that are now fathers are more present in their child's lives than the parents that they had growing up too. So, and obviously technology helps with that too, because even if I'm away on a business trip, I can still FaceTime with my son. So there's definitely crazy caveats with that. But either way, I originally said no. And then came back to it and I said, I think this would be really cool because I took the focus of what has always been important to me is helping people. And the main focus about Mometu, and the whole reason the name is Mometu, it means more for me and you. It's because it always was centered around more opportunities for filmmakers that are underserved to the audiences. And so I was like, well, if I do this, I can help filmmakers that were like my parents have their films be seen. And when I put that spin on it, I said, okay, we can definitely do something with this company. Taking content that is very seldomly promoted as the top film on any other platform you're using, whether it be free or subscription, we were able to do something that was very unique, that's not been done because we hand curate all of our content as well. So any title you see on our platform, we do it all by hand. We have an incredible team that curates everything and makes sure that we're exposing people to content that they never knew existed, they never knew they loved. And if they want to go into specific genres, they can easily do that just by clicking, genres, go into movies, and just get right into a world of horror, comedy, classics, Korean dramas, whatever they want to get into. Very easy to kind of just get immersed into a world just by a couple clicks too. So discoverability, we've really taken a lot of time to make sure that happens. So, but all that stemmed from the very beginning of like kind of the idea behind it, and helping people and helping filmmakers and even helping international filmmakers be seen by American audiences, because we have a lot of international films too. So the chance that I was able to relook at this opportunity is when kind of that entrepreneurial, which is a word I can really barely pronounce sometimes.
I can barely say it too, bro. It's all right.
It's like my last name. I say it different ways, different times. But I think that's when it kind of kicked in. I was just like, you know what? The mold of, or the kind of the blending of helping people and also running a business has kind of come to fruition here. Very grateful for my times at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, balancing a sheet and making sure I'm discussing business relationships with other entities, right? Like, so when I work with different distribution partners and having conversations with them and working with filmmakers who are, we're trying to find their goals and their aspirations. What kind of film is this for you? If you're making this film, is this a calling card film? Is this a film that you need to make a certain amount of money back on? What are your distribution now? Are you okay with this being subbed or dubbed into different languages and sold internationally, or do you want to keep it raw in its original form? And so there's a lot of conversations that happen, and I think that because of my background in the corporate world, it really helped me. It helped set me up to be very successful as far as being a communicator in this world too. And then obviously having my background growing up in the film industry, I got to kind of see what it was firsthand being an independent creator and growing up in that world too. So it's kind of blended a lot of my childhood with a lot of my passion, and then also just kind of in the here and now, just kind of being, a business owner in a sense of Mometu. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's cool, man. I got to tell you, I mean, what I do now, like in my regular job, and I don't really make any money doing this because it's just a passion project of mine, but I help people. And I appreciate that is the goal of your company, because when you look at America today, most companies they're not designed to help people. They're designed to make money. And I deal with insurance companies a lot, which they want to pretend like they care about people, but it's the bottom line that they really care about, especially, when you have a board of trustees and you have a board that all they care about is seeing green, right? So, for you guys, that's a unique proposition, because most companies, they don't give a shit about you. They just want to make money.
And look,
so I appreciate
you
that.
have to balance that too, right? Like there is a balance of making filmmakers or distribution companies understand the business side of things too. It's like, hey, I know you want us to do X, Y, and Z for you. Here's why that's not going to work, or here's why it could work, or hey, you know what? No one's ever done that before. Let's take a chance on it, right, and see what happens. And so, that like one of our more popular films over the last year, it was a film called Stupid Games. This film was made for under $10,000, $7,800 budget. I mean, crazy low. No big names in it. Like, they had one cast member that had done something like major at the time, who played a smaller cameo role in the film. And think he's in like a scene in the beginning and a scene at the end. And so this film was definitely not a film that a bigger streamer would have ever taken and put up in the forefront, put in the limelight, given a chance to shine and get the hundreds of thousands or even millions of clicks to watch it. It just wasn't that film. We took a chance on it and said, hey, we want to put it in the forefront. We want to really be part of its marketing strategy. We want to be able to not just get it onto our platform, but also help those filmmakers get onto other services as well, which they are now. And a year after they released their film, we did this like beautiful premiere. I mean, I think we spent more on the premiere than they did making the film, which is just crazy to think about that budget. But we made it really nice, really fun, and that film ended up winning a Telly Award. It won gold at the Telly Awards for ultra micro low budget or ultra micro low budget. A film under $10,000. It won gold at the Telly Awards, and it was I think it was like a top 20 film on Tubi at one point. It's a top 10 horror film at one point for them too. So really cool to see the success of that film. But again, it took us kind of taking a chance on it, because if they had just put it up on another service, it would have just existed, and you're hoping an algorithm takes the film off and kind of and gets to the users. But if it doesn't take off in the algorithm, no one sees it. Very similar, like if someone posts content on TikTok or Instagram, you post a video up, you spend a lot of time in editing and all that stuff and really making it really nice, and then it just doesn't go anywhere in the first 30 minutes. The algorithm shuts it down, and you get in the 300 view jail. Very
it happens
common
to me a
for
lot.
most people.
Happens to me a lot. Oh,
I mean, it's very
mainly
common,
mainly because like my show is designed to talk to everybody. So, I've had people that talk about sex. I've had people that talk about murder. I mean, you name it, right? I've had people talk about it, fucking aliens and alien ghosts and whatever. And the algorithm it's not kind. But you know what? I learned very early on that you can't look at the numbers.
No.
And I've talked about this on my show before. For me, it's about just leaving a legacy, right? So I don't have kids, but someday I'm going to die, but this is going to be on the internet. And maybe someday someone I talk to, they're having the same issue or they think something's really cool, and I'll be long gone and they'll still fucking be able to watch it. That's like my goal. I don't think I'm going to be a fucking Joe Rogan. That's a 1%er, half a 1%er or lower, right? But at the end of the day, if one person watches it, I interview psychologists, psychiatrists, things like that, and something they say resonates and helps somebody, that's all that matters, man. And that's the world that we live in. I know everything's monetized and people want to see crazy numbers and shit, but it doesn't always work that way, especially for someone. I've been doing this for, let's see, I started in August of 21, I think.
Very cool.
22. And I had my highest downloaded month last month.
That's awesome.
So it's like you never know when someone's gonna be like, oh, that show's cool. Let me download it and let me share it with my friends. And that's how things are. Right?
A person that I interviewed on my podcast he goes by Straw Hat Goofy, and he's one of the largest TikTok movie reviewers in the industry. He's got like 3.6 million on TikTok alone.
Damn.
And he just interviewed, this year he did an exclusive interview with Ryan Coogler on about Sinners. He interviewed Leonardo DiCaprio. He interviewed Tom Cruise.
Wow.
He's done some pretty incredible interviews. And so I had him on my podcast, and we play a game called This or That every episode. 20 questions. There's no wrong answers. It's just this or that on all of them. And one of them was like, okay, you're making content. Does it have to be perfect or you post it? And he's just like, just post it. He's like, you have content, just post it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it up there, because you never know what's going to take off. And usually things, when you second guess them on your end about making the content and putting it up in a certain way, the algorithm doesn't favor it. It's those things when you just put them up randomly and all of a sudden it just takes off. And it's so true, because a lot of the content creators that I know, I go back to them, it's like, what was that first video that took off that like you're like, oh, I could do this for a living, and it's always this random video that they come up with. They're like, yeah, I just did a video about I think Stony the Great was on my podcast as well, and he's another creator, and he's in the horror kind of genre of TikTok, and he's got almost 1 million followers on TikTok or so, and he did a video where he talks a lot about Marvel and the is it the Marvel, DC, and the MCU.
Yeah.
And so he actually talked about where there was what's the actor's name that he was a Spider-Man. Is it Tom
Holland?
Tom Holland, there you go. So
Yeah.
there was a part where Tom Holland was like he was on screen and he was just like bubbling, trying, like snot rockets, all these like total method actor going into it. And then they pan forward with another character and he's in the background and he thinks he's off camera and you see him just go like totally straight faced. But the editor, for like the very, very like split second, you can see Tom Holland's face go totally normal after he was just like, you died. And it was just like this moment. And he did this video and it just blew up. Like no one knew. Like it was just crazy. And so like it's just those moments you're just like, you never know when like you make a video about something, you never know when it's just gonna just take off. So
I need to get better with that because I'm a perfectionist and I have like hours upon hours of fucking shit that I could probably post. But I also have a full-time job. So sometimes for me, it's like, when do I have time to like take a shit and then also edit a video, and
usually
sleep.
while you're on the throne. So
Exactly, right? I need to fucking multitask better.
there you go. Stop doom scrolling. Stop doom scrolling and get to editing. No,
I
it's
will-
usually batching my editing. Like that's what I usually find is like set aside a couple hours and batch edit like a bunch of videos so you have them kind of in drafts and ready to go. So you're not doing them every single day. It's just too hard.
I need to do that. But I will tell you this. I appreciate your platform because me and the wifey, we're like, we love like B-rated horror. It's like, she grew up with it.
We got you.
And so, obviously I'm dating myself and I'm sure you're going to agree with me here, but Blockbuster was fantastic.
Blockbuster was phenomenal.
There was a Blockbuster half a mile down the street. And when we first moved into Northeast Philadelphia, it was probably like 2012. There was still a Blockbuster. It is now a hibachi place, I think. But there was still a Blockbuster here. So we would go down and we had no furniture. We had just moved into this place. And but I had a TV that I brought. So we would go to Blockbuster. We'd go to the horror aisle and we would just rent 3 or 4 movies because Netflix then didn't really have anything streaming. It was mostly physical DVDs.
Yeah, no, that's what Netflix started at was DVDs getting delivered to people's houses.
They had some streaming, but it was like it wasn't anything that was original.
Not enough people had the internet or fast enough internet for streaming at that point.
Exactly. So we would go to Blockbuster. We'd rent 2 or 3 really just shitty horror movies, and we would have a drink, and it was a great night. And we would do it all the time. And I do miss that. I think we're a little spoiled now with the streaming world. But I appreciate your platform because not only are you giving people that are making these films an avenue, but you're giving people like us who like those B movies because you gotta appreciate. I've interviewed actors who just do B movies. I've interviewed producers. I've interviewed people who created B-rated horror movies, and it's just so much fun to like analyze their creative side and how they did some of the things they did on the budget that they had. Which might be $10,000, might be $50,000, right?
Yep.
Which is nothing in the grand scheme of things when you're looking at it.
Yeah, I'd actually be really interested to go back and find some of the actors you've interviewed and see if they have any films on Mometu.
Yeah, what's my guy that I interviewed, and he's got here. I have your Mometu up, so I'm gonna look at the horror movies.
Yeah, do it.
This is cool though. So you don't even need to. Do you need to sign in to watch any of this?
No, you can just go in anonymously and watch, or you can create an account. Creating an account helps because you can actually save some films for later. Like you could sign up and sign in on your phone and then also be signed in at home on both the same account, right? And then be able to go and save stuff on your phone. So like while you're maybe in the restroom or at work or whatever, going through what are we going to watch this weekend, you save some stuff and then you get to your television. It's already saved for you in your favorites.
Let
keeps
me
track
ask
of
you
your watch
this.
history as well. Yeah.
And maybe you could tell me, maybe you can't. So, obviously in today's world with how things are, how do you guys make money? Do you make it off of advertising or what's?
We do.
You don't have
Yeah,
to
it's
go
all
into,
commercials.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. What most people are cool with is commercials. But if I say, oh, we're an ad service, we're an ad-based service for revenue, they're like, oh, I don't want any ads. But if you say, oh, I got some commercials there, they're like, ooh, commercials are fun. Because everyone waits for the Super Bowl commercials, not the Super Bowl game. But if they were called Super Bowl ads, I don't know if people are going to be as excited about it anymore. Yeah, YouTube kind of changed the connotation of the word ad or advert, really took it down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think if you're offering a service that's free, I mean, something I could watch where I don't even need to sign in. I know we were talking about this before I hit record. I think that's pretty cool because in most cases, you have to create an account, you have to sign in, you have to like go through that process. But for some people, especially, elderly, they don't fucking understand how the fucking internet works, Okay, so my buddy that did a B-rated horror movie, his name is Ethan Henry. It's called Severance Mountain.
Okay. Did you look his name up in Mometu and see if he's in any of the films?
Let me see.
So if you were to just go to that top right corner, the little magnifying glass.
No, it doesn't look like he's.
No, I mean we don't have every actor, but
Well, no, he's the guy that created it. So I don't really know.
okay, he's not the actor; he's a producer,
Yeah.
essentially. So all good. Either way, we have a ton of films. We have over 10,000 titles on our platform.
We have to get him
So,
on your platform.
A
as
lot
well,
of
but-
content. Let's do it. Yeah, as far as like horror films, though, we have a great collection of horror content. We have a partnership with Terror Films that we have going, which Terror Films has a lot of independent horror films. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you're going to love our platform. But we also have some stuff that is, classic stuff too. So if you're into B horror, like the Slumber Party Massacre, we have that
Okay.
film. It's an
I remember that.
incredible, great film made by women actually. So it's interesting that how it's made. When you watch it, you're like, oh, this was made by women. It's like, oh, kind of makes sense, but it's also, man, there's a lot of boobs in here. So, very
Always
very,
the best B-rated horror
very
there.
80s horror right there is solid. There's always a good set of boobs. Halloween, if you look at that, Halloween was an indie film, and 1978, John Carpenter, and PJ Souls is known pretty well for being the girl in the where she's hooking up with the dude and the dude goes downstairs. She's I think the first naked girl that Michael Myers sees, because he's
Can't see his eyes, but
well, yeah, because he grew up in a mental institute, so he's
Yeah.
out and he's doing his thing, and so he kills the guy downstairs, and then goes up and he's wearing the ghost, he's wearing the sheet, so he looks like a ghost right when he walks in, and he
Yep.
sees her as like, oh, like that's what a naked girl looks like. It's just like one of those moments where he's just like stone cold, like, what do I do? And then I'm gonna go strangle you with a phone cord instead. So.
yeah, the most intimate way to kill someone.
But
there's
yeah,
just
we have some
something
really
about
incredible
it, dude.
stuff on the platform, though. So yeah, just you guys are gonna really enjoy it. And then we have a lot of international horror as well. So if you're into like Japanese horror, Korean horror, we have some stuff from Malaysia and Indonesia that's just wild. Like just some stuff that really gets into kind of the what is it called? The taboo type stuff, like the black magic and witchcrafty type stuff. It's wild.
They have some crazy shit over there, dude. We've watched. So Netflix has some really good like Korean, Chinese zombie flicks and zombie series that we love. I mean, obviously, I think Squid Games opened the door, for
Even before
America.
that.
Us as
Even before that, Parasite.
a Parasite. We didn't watch it though until I think after we watched Squid Games, because
Yep.
a lot of times I'm like, I'm not watching one. I don't want to watch dub stuff because I feel like there's a lot of lost in translation. Like I feel like you really do need to read as you're
Subtitles.
looking through it. Yeah, the subtitles are very important. And we keep subtitles and everything because the wifey's like, I don't understand half the shit people say anyway. So
Oh yeah,
we keep
no, we
subtitles
watch
on.
Peaky Blinders, even though it's in English. We watch Peaky Blinders with subtitles because like Cockney accents and everything. You just can't understand a word some of those people are saying sometimes.
I watched the first season. I tried to get her to watch it, even with subtitles. Peaky Blinders is a little difficult, because it's like very old English. Good series, great series.
Phenomenal. But yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff on there that I think you'd really enjoy as far as horror goes. But we have really every genre, every generation, and content from all around the world. So it's worth being like, hey, you don't have to make Mometu your number one go-to service. If you'd like to, please, we'd love to have you as the first. But a lot of people have subscriptions, right, to something. They either a Netflix or an Apple. If they're really into shows, it's kind of going to Apple because they've kind of taken over as like the best place to find really quality shows. But if you're a fan of the deep cuts, if you're a fan of like B-rated films and B horror and looking at kind of being a cinephile in a sense of seeing what people did with a certain budget and just hearing unique stories, because there's so many great stories that are out there. They just never got the budget. They never got the funding that really they could have made a film just a little bit better, but it's still a phenomenal story, right? So, Mometu's kind of up your alley. So make us your second choice. We'll be there when you're sitting there looking for something to watch and you spend 30 minutes and your dinner's cold and you haven't found something because you and the wifey are still trying to figure it out. Be like, let's just jump over to Mometu and put on something random and see what happens. Russian roulette on Mometu.
Let me ask you this. I mean, you got to be kind of a video guy, right? I mean, movie guy, show guy at this point, because it's kind of your job. Have you watched Pluribus yet from Apple Plus?
I have not. Wifey and I, actually, since it came out, wifey and I have not been home together very much. So either I've been traveling or she's been traveling. We're about to travel again tomorrow, actually. We're going down to Punta Mita for a few nights. So being away for a little bit. But usually when we're home together, we are typically going through shows that it's taken us like a month or two to get through because we don't have enough nights. And because we have a 3-year-old. So if he's having a rough night going to sleep, we don't get to watch something. So I think right now we've been watching The Amazing Race. We're trying to finish up that series, but that just goes to show that's only on once a week. And that's we were already 2 episodes behind. That just shows how much we were not in the same room together watching stuff, because we like to watch stuff together. And if I'm home by myself, I typically will spend more time working. So I'll get back in front of the computer once the little man goes down, and I don't really get too much time. And if I'm to be completely honest, I'll go back and rewatch some of the Suits episodes because I just love Suits. I'm still working my way back through the episodes. I think I'm on season 6 or 7 right now, so almost done. That'll open up some time. But there's just some shows that it's almost like they're off limits because we want to watch them together, right? So we went through with Seth Rogen and not the studio.
I know what you're talking about. I haven't watched
studio,
it.
But Platonic.
Plutonic? Yeah.
So we watched Platonic. We watched that. We got through all the extra episodes of all the other new series that came out. There was some stuff we went through on Netflix. We watched some type of we're really into crime thrillers. We like kind of there was a show about this. I think they lived in New York or maybe not New York, but another major city. No, it was San Francisco. It was like a married couple that the girl gets in a boating accident. She wakes up and she doesn't have all her memory. Not sure if you saw that one. That was a really good one. And then she starts piecing things together. Like her memory starts coming back, and then she puts it all together. That I don't know. I don't want to spoil it. It's really good. And then they already made a second season to it as well. So they did really well.
Dude, you gotta do whatever you.
Pluribus is really good.
I'm big into sci-fi, and obviously Breaking Bad's a top 3 for me. Vince Gilligan is a fucking mastermind with what he does. And the premise, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the premise is basically there's a virus and it infects everybody except a select few people. and it's very, very good. It's very well done. Only 2 episodes have been out, so obviously,
Oh, okay, so I'm not too far behind.
No,
Yeah,
not at all.
because I think before my watch list is, I really want to see Welcome to Derry.
Yeah. So we watched what did we watch? The first episode of Welcome to Derry?
We watched like the first 3.
No, I think it's the first 2. I think same thing happened with Pluribus. I think they released the first 2.
Can we get a wife mic? Can we get a wife mic? Give her.
I know.
Mic.
Everyone keeps asking for the wife mic. I know. She's my data center. So if I have to ask something, because I always get all the stories wrong.
Yeah. I have a producer. I have a producer on my podcast. So like, everyone always asks like, hey, can we get a Craig cam? Like, because he's always Googling stuff and everything. So it's great.
Dude, Pluribus is really good, and honestly, the fact that I got her to watch it, because I didn't know that it was sci-fi. When we started it, because people were releasing stuff on TikTok saying, we can't talk about what the premise of the show is, but it is really good. You need to watch it. So I'm like, look, we don't have shit to watch right now. I mean, we do, but we don't. Let's just watch the first 2 episodes, see what happens. And, it starts out and it's, they basically a signal from somewhere in outer space comes to Earth, and scientists try to figure it out. And it turns out it's like a mRNA sequence. So then they turn it into, testing it on things, and that's when all the crazy shit happens. But it was cool because it's like it's hard to explain. I get excited when it's something that's new. It's sci-fi, but you haven't seen something like it. At least I haven't in a long time. And I get excited for that stuff because you don't know where it's going to go. You have so many tropes, right? It's the murder mysteries and things like that. With a show like this, I have no fucking idea where they're going to go with it. And there's so many, obviously, like, I watch a lot of stuff on TikTok where there's all these theories, and it sparks like a whole new, it's not a whole new genre, but it sparks like this just discussion about what's going to happen. And I love shit like that,
The NDAs that have to go on to keep every story a secret must be so deeply involved, because to keep a story a secret to the point where like not even influencers know about it, like there's usually someone that leaks the story to a spouse. I mean, it has to be to a point like, if you leak this to anyone, like, you will never work in this town again. Like, it's just like, I mean, I'm sure there's lawsuits that can be filed for like loss of revenue and all that stuff. So it is, those NDAs are for shows like this where you don't know anything about it and they're only releasing 1 episode a week. It's impressive that no one knows anything, and it's just like it's just people guessing that what's happening.
The crazy thing too is, like, I was reading some stuff. I saw a couple TikToks, and apparently there was a bidding war. So he wrote this for quite some time, and there was a bidding war, and a lot of studios really wanted it, but Apple Plus said, they kind of gave him things that no one else normally does. They're like, you have complete control creatively, and you can take as long as you need.
Yeah, Netflix would never do that.
Never. And he's like, all right, sign me up. And so that's why it's on Apple Plus. And he said he didn't even know that it was going to have any alien elements to it, the way the virus was, until a year and a half into him writing it. So that's pretty wild, but I got to tell you, I respect that. And I mean, just what he did with Breaking Bad, I didn't necessarily like. It's tough because I really enjoyed the show. I didn't like the ending as much, but it's when you're a fan of the series, do you really ever like it?
Endings are so tough when you have multiple seasons.
Yeah,
and when you plan to write something for a season and maybe 2, and then it goes 4, 5, 6 seasons. Those are always difficult because you're writing to keep the story going, and it always makes for a very bad ending. I mean, look back at gosh, what is it called? I always call it Titties and Dragons, but
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Yeah. There we go. So
Titties and Dragons.
Everyone says Game of Thrones was just the worst ending of all time, and it's because they didn't originally plan to write the story out that far. It just kept going. People wanted more, so
it was a cop out. It was a cop out. It was a terrible ending. Just like Lost.
That's how it is, though. That's just
Lost was a terrible ending too.
Yeah. Yep. It just happens, man. I mean, it's just when you have to outright the story, you're far beyond the even original potential of a story because it just did so well.
Yeah.
You're gonna get there. So
Yeah, I mean, look, he said that he has the story going out 3 to 4 seasons. So as long as
Cool.
it hits what he wants, I'm cool. Don't drag it out. I'm cool with it ending if it ends on a fucking great note.
I mean, it's nice that no one knows about it either because that's like, you know what? I'm kind of bummed about like Silo, like because Silo is a phenomenal show. I really enjoyed that one, but it's based off a book that anyone can read. Like you already know the ending if you've read the book.
Yeah.
So it's
I
kinda
heard
nice that it's
Silo's really
secretive.
good. I just
Phenomenal.
I have not watched it yet.
Oh, bummer. No, it's a really good one. Highly suggest Silo. Silo's really good. And then, gosh, what was the other one that was really good on? That's been good. Severance. Severance has been phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
Apple's
we
Apple's
love
Apple's
we love
crushing it.
Severance.
Apple's
The
crushing
original
it.
content is where it's at, man. I don't want some fucking cookie cutter shit. I want like original, weird. Just give me some weird sci-fi shit, or just something that's like not like we consume shit every day, and it's always the same shit. I want something new. I want something exciting, and it's like I get people want a payday, and they'll throw A-listers or AAA people into it, but it's like, give me something new, man. I want something exciting. And
Well, that's what we got Mometu for you. So literally, it's like a lot of stories that are I would say are very unique. There's a lot of stories that have never been done, and if they had like larger budgets or just more backing of maybe a studio or just the means of locations or more days or whatever it may be, and certain actors potentially with the limits of SAG and with low budget films and all that stuff, it's like some of these stories could be really, 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 really good, and some of them are. Some of them are just like kind of again diamonds in the rough that you're just like going through these indie films and you're like, man, this one's a banger. Like, how did this not do better? And it's like, well, because it took them $20,000 to make this film and they had no money for marketing. It's just they were hoping for word of mouth and something to go off, and they just didn't do their marketing properly with their no budget marketing, and it's difficult sometimes. But then you get some films that are like Terrifier that just absolutely just take off.
So good.
So it's very rare when that
Terrifier's so
happens.
good.
It's very rare when that happens, though. So
I mean, when you're sawing a chick in half that's hanging up and she's like, it's just spread wide and he's just like fucking got a, chainsaw. You don't see that often. So, yeah, I mean, those are definitely.
it's not in every Disney film, that's for sure. So
That is quite true. Well, look, I didn't get to 99% of the shit that I wanted to talk about because anytime I have that means our conversation was an A-list conversation because most of the time, I at least get through a chunk of it. So we'll have to do this again.
okay,
Brian.
I mean, pull my arm, pull my leg, whatever you want to do. I'd love to come back on and talk more. If I could take a quick moment just to let people know, there's two other entities that we didn't talk too much about, and if you have a chance to support us next summer, I'd really love if you're a lover of film and you're a lover of supporting the arts and the up and coming filmmaker, or maybe you are an up and coming filmmaker. Listen to this. Make sure you check out the Mometu College Film Festival. It's a phenomenal film festival. We'll be going into our 4th season. And it just helps support the up-and-coming filmmakers that are in film school or maybe just recently graduated, have some incredible prizes and educational opportunities. But, yeah, we can talk about that more in the next time we have you on. And also go visit the podcast. Go visit the More For Me and You podcast, which is what Mometu means more for me and you. And so go check that out. We have about 34 episodes released so far. I'm not sure if we're going to make any more this year or not. We have a couple extras that I'll do virtually. We mostly do them in person, but I have some people that I would love to interview. They're just not in LA. So we'll see how that goes. But again, check those things out. But overall, if you're going to check out anything, definitely check out Mometu. Phenomenal service. Download it on your Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Android TV, or any of your smart TVs. Free to download, free to use. And you can already tell Rob loves it. So go check it out.
Well, you can tell Brian's been doing this a while because I was going to say plug away, and he's like, I'm just going to plug it. Fuck it.
Let's
go for it.
Yeah, no, I got it down, I think, very quickly. I need to slow down every now and then. I think this this little drink here is getting me rocking and rolling, so I'm just enjoying
What you
the
got in
afternoon.
there? Which I didn't ask.
So this is not a cocktail like you are drinking because it's a little earlier over here, so I'll be getting into that shortly. I do have something nice ready. This is actually called. It's made by Ghost. It's called Intra. It's a mixture of like kind of a, not quite a pre-workout, but kind of a pre-workout hydration type. All around. Got some extra stuff in there to make your muscles feel good and everything. Because I did a little workout earlier today, but my go-to, which I'll be busting out later, is the Adictivo Extra Añejo tequila. This is
delicious.
If you haven't had, are you a fan of tequila?
All right, so I'm Puerto Rican.
Okay.
I don't look it, but I tend to stay away from tequila because I don't know what it's going to do to me.
For sure.
But it is delicious.
So
And I'm
highly
totally
recommend
cool
you
with it.
go to your local. I'm guessing you were drinking some bourbon there, or
Yeah, that was Buffalo Trace.
there you go. Okay, so go to your a liquor store that's nicer, and go to their tequila section and look. Maybe even talk to the folks there and ask them about a nicer extra añejo. And so añejo is only a 1 year in a barrel. Extra añejo is spent 7 years, so it's very more similar to a bourbon.
Okay.
Even though it is tequila, that's why it's a lot darker. It's got a kind of that caramel coloration
love it.
to it. So not a
Bottle's
typical
cool as shit,
tequila
too.
like you would see. Like you kind of see tequila as more like the Jose Cuervo, which is brings back very bad memories, which is more yellow, and then silver tequila is obviously clear. But the extra añejo is a very dark, very similar like a bourbon because it's been 7 years in a cask. Really kind of get that sweetness, kind of brings out the notes from the barrel. So yeah, highly recommend that. I'm in Southern California, so I'm very spoiled with my tequila because being in Southern California, really close to Mexico, so we get a lot of really
you get the
nice
good
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah,
you
I'm
get the
gonna
good
be
shit,
getting some nice stuff. I think because we're going to Punta Mita for my wife's holiday work party, and so it's 3 nights in Punta Mita at the Conrad. Cannot wait. And I already know we have a private mezcal tasting while we're there, so
Ooh,
really looking forward
okay.
to that. Last time I did a tequila tasting like this was in Cabo. It was at the Waldorf Astoria Pedregal, well above my budget. We just got hooked up by going there and getting treated by these people because of my wife's work, and we did a private tequila tasting. And I told this guy how much I love tequila, and especially añejos and extra añejos, and he brought me back into this like private wine cellar, and they had these little tiny casks. You've seen the little ones.
Yep.
And he had his own private tequila that he had in there. He's like the head, I don't know what they call him, the bartender there, but the head guy. And he had his own private little one back there that he was making his own extra añejo. And he let me try some, and it was like, it was so good. It's a super small batch. Like, it was delicious. But man, some incredible tequilas and mezcals in Mexico, and been very fortunate to try some nice ones. So looking forward to the trip.
Jealous, man. Jealous. Well, look, it's been a pleasure. So my podcast is Drink Clock Pod on all socials, Drink Clock Podcast, wherever the fuck you listen to stuff, including YouTube if you want to watch it. And look, man, this is fun. And let's do this again soon.
Let's run it back.
Cool. All right, man. Have a great night.
You too.
On a stormy night where legends unfold, there's a podcast that's breaking the mold. Raise your voices, raise your glass high. Welcome to the Drink O'Clock Podcast. Let's dive. Oh, grab an old fashioned and join the fray. Raise your spirits, let the music play. From the corner pub to the dance hall floor. Drink O'Clock Podcast, we're ready for more. We're ready for more. With a mix of folklore and rebel cheer, we'll guide you through tales of whiskey and beer. From Irish shores to lands afar, grab your friends, it's time to raise the bar.